Okay, hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. In today's episode, we have so many insane myths that you guys suggested on the last episode, so just like always, if you do have a myth you would like me to test in the next or future episodes of the Fortnite Mythbusters, make sure to go down in the comments and drop a comment of that myth for a pretty good chance to be featured. Also, if you are new around here and you are a part of that 75% of my viewers who are not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications to never miss another Fortnite Mythbusters episode. Also, let's see if we could smash 32,986 likes on today's episode. That would be insane. Also, thanks for everyone who uses code Nexiph in the Fortnite item shop. I really do appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get right on in to today's video. Kicking things off, jumping straight into the first myth. The first myth is, will the flare gun reveal the location of a player who is hiding in a haystack or even a garbage bin? Now, the flare gun, basically you shoot it up into the air and it will, scan for enemies within a certain radius, and it will even scan them through buildings, which we learned in the last episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. When testing this myth out, it was actually pretty simple to do. Firstly, I had to find a flare gun. I then made my way over towards Frenzy Farms, where there's a bunch of hay bales that you could actually hide inside of. From there, when my friend who was on the enemy team was hiding inside of the hay bale, I then saw a flare up into the air, and to my surprise, you actually are able to see any enemies who are hiding inside of, the hay bales or even the garbage cans. When the flare gun scans the radius, it will still show, the diamond above the enemy's head if they are hiding inside of the hay bale, just like as if they were standing still, or just any other situation. If you happen to be that player hiding inside of the hay bale, you will be able to see the flare up in the sky super easy, but there's no notification letting you know that the enemies do in fact see you. Going into the next myth is, do sharks regenerate health when they eat a healing item like an apple, a banana, whatever it may be? If you don't know already, located around the map, usually in the kitchens and houses, there will be these weird green and red boxes that you can actually search, and it'll drop a bunch of healables like mushrooms, apples, coconuts, corn, and all of these items. You could eat them super quick and they will heal you a good maybe 5 to 10 or 15 HP max. After getting my inventory loaded up with these healables, I then found myself a shark and did a decent amount of damage to the shark, just that way we could see if they actually do end up healing when they do eat one of these consumables. This specific shark, after I did a decent amount of damage to him, he was actually at 1,616 HP. That's a number that we will need to remember for this myth. After riding the shark for a little bit, I then got off of the shark, dropped all of the healables in my inventory, and waited for the shark to eat all of them. And keep in mind, if it was a real player, they would have healed a good maybe like 30 to 50 HP. In this case though, the shark was still at the exact same amount of health, and when I did end up killing the shark, it still dropped all of the consumables. Going straight into the next myth. The next myth is, if a shark eats an unloaded gun, when you kill the shark, will the gun still be emptier or will it come back fully loaded? I thought this was actually a pretty interesting myth, because in a real game you won't really keep track whether or not the weapon actually has ammo, or if it doesn't, when the shark ends up eating the weapon, or even when you kill the shark to get the weapon back. I firstly tried this myth out by shooting my blue SMG till it had no bullets left in the mag. I then dropped the weapon into the water and let the shark end up fully eating the weapon. After killing the shark, the weapon dropped one more time, and I was actually surprised to see that the magazine was fully loaded, but it used the same bullets from my inventory, so it's not like 30 bullets magically reappeared inside of the magazine. I then tried this myth out one more time with a sniper, where I dropped all of the ammo from my inventory, used the last bullet in the sniper rifle, and let the shark, eat the sniper. From there, I killed the shark, where the sniper dropped one more time, but unfortunately, the sniper was still out of ammo. It had 0 bullets in the magazine, 0 bullets, at all, and it didn't even reload by itself. Overall, something cool and good to know, because the shark will automatically reload your weapon. Jumping into the next myth is, what happens when you throw an upgrade machine on top of a launch pad? So if you haven't played Fortnite much recently, upgrade machines are now portable. You could, pick them up as a ground loot, throw them down on the ground, upgrade your weapon. You could then break the machine one more time and carry it to the next location if you really want to. Obviously, when trying this myth out, firstly, I had to find myself a launch pad. I then placed down the launch pad to see if it, it obviously still worked. I then, went next to the launch pad and threw down the upgrade machine in the direct center, as close as I possibly could, and I was actually surprised to see the launch pad, like, all of a sudden would not work one bit anymore. The upgrade machine was on top of it. I was on top of the actual launch pad itself, but it would never launch me up into the air like how it does regularly. I then broke the upgrade machine and placed it more on the edge of the launch pad, where it then allowed me to launch up into the air. Overall, pretty interesting. I know there's one way that you could actually stand on top of a launch pad without being launched up into the air, and that's if you actually get knocked on it and then revived. That would allow you to, stand on top of it, but in this case, you still launch. Going into the next myth is, if you shoot you a shockwave grenade and it explodes while a flare is flying right past it, will it affect the flare in any way. So if any of you guys remember the guided missile that was added into Fortnite, the rocket, if it was within the range of, you know, a shockwave grenade, the rocket will launch to the side and you'll basically lose control of it. With this myth, a whole ton of people were thinking it might have the exact same effect with you know, a flare gun's flare. When I tried this myth out in game, it was actually very, very difficult to do, and at first I thought the shockwave was actually affecting the flare, but that was just a flare, you know, bouncing off of the ground, which I did not even know the flares would do that. Usually, you know, you just shoot them up into the air. After attempting this myth multiple more times and even slowing it down to make sure that the flare was within, you know, the shockwave grenade's radius, it was never affected at all. The flare just kept going in its own straight line and eventually exploded pretty far away. It would be pretty cool to, you know, see the shockwave grenade actually affect the flare, but in this case it does not, unlike, you know, the guided missile does. Going into the next myth is, does the flare gun scan and auto detect the shark? So we already know the flare gun will auto detect, you know, henchmen, bosses, or players, whatever it really detects within its scanned radius. Sometimes, you know, in a real game you might want to try and find a shark, and if you do have a flare gun, you might not want to rely on that, because when I tried this myth out in game, I shot the flare up into the air, scanned the entire area, but every single time I tried it, it seemed to not even notice the shark one bit. Every single time I tried this, the scan clearly went directly through the shark. It acted, you know, like it was just you know, a house, a building, a chest, whatever it may be, but it would still, you know, show the diamond above the enemy, who was my friend on the enemy team. So I guess in game, if you ever do want to find a shark, you have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is you know, go into the water, try and find the fin sticking up, or even getting in a helicopter, maybe placing down the launch pad, just somehow getting above the ground. That way, you know, you can find them the easiest. Going straight into the next myth, is what happens when you throw an upgrade bench straight down underneath your player. Now, a whole ton of people actually requested this myth on the last episode. It got like 2,000 likes, which is insane. So, you know, I definitely had to try it out for you guys. Obviously, when trying this myth out, I had to find myself an upgrade bench, which was very, very easy to do. I then threw it right beneath my player, literally directly straight down, and you actually glitch inside of it, which it might be a little bit overpowered. One thing to take note of though is when you are glitched inside of the upgrade machine, one small move will basically push you straight out of it, and you cannot shoot outside of the upgrade machine as well. As soon as you start shooting, the bullets will hit the machine itself. It won't, you know, hit the structures outside of it. I even took this myth into replay mode, and it's not overpowered one bit. I mean, you could clearly see the player beneath the upgrade machine, and he sticks out quite a bit. So it's not like, you know, you're hiding underneath the map like that glitch used to be way back in, I think it was like season 6, season 7. Overall, I thought this was pretty cool. Usually I don't promote glitches, but this one really seems you know, harmless. Going into the next myth is, can you upgrade a flare gun in an upgrade machine since the flare gun rarity is blue? Now, the night that the flare gun actually was released, if you were watching my live stream, I was stressing out to get one of these. I even tried to upgrade, you know, a blue pistol, a green pistol, a gray pistol, whatever pistols I could find to see if I could upgrade to the flare gun, but you never were able to. Now, after testing this myth out, it all totally makes sense, because I threw down a portable upgrade machine. I then took, you know, the blue rarity flare gun up to it, but it says that the weapon cannot be upgraded, similar to, you know, if you were to try and upgrade, you know, a mythical weapon like we did in past episodes. Now, obviously in the future, if there are going to be any new rarities of these flare guns, you might be able to upgrade them, but in this case, since there's no more, you're stuck with the blue one. Jumping into the last and final myth, this myth is it possible for a Marauder to run out of ammo? So not too long ago, we actually tested this exact same thing out, but without a Marauder. We tried it out with a henchman, and henchmen, they would never ever run out of ammo. You would kill them and they would have a set amount of ammo that, you know, they would always drop with their weapon and even on the ground. When I tried this myth out in game, I basically went to an entire group of Marauders and killed specifically the heavy Marauder. The heavy Marauder always carries, you know, a gray tack as well as some ammo, and in this case the Marauder was carrying about 20 bullets. From there, I found another group of Marauders and basically baited the heavy Marauder to shoot as many bullets as he possibly could. I did this for a good maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I even had to lead him into the zone, and he shot a total of about 50 bullets. I'll go in replay mode, speed it up for you guys to see, and the Marauder shot way more than 20 bullets. At the end though, when I ended up fully killing the Marauder, he dropped all of his loot. I dropped all my bullets, my weapons as well, and he seemed to not run out of ammo. It was still, you know, the base 20 bullets. Overall, pretty interesting and good to know. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to leave a like, and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. Turn on those post notifications to never miss another episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. If you have not already, make sure to go drop me a follow on all my social medias. All of them are down below in the description, and I will see you guys next time.